Ken Delanian joins us from outside the courthouse. Ken, tell us what happened in there. We've all been waiting.
Andrea, Donald Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, pled not guilty on his behalf. He said, "We most certainly enter a plea of not guilty." When asked by the magistrate judge how he pleads, it was a very pro forma, very bare bones proceeding in there. It lasted probably around 5 minutes. I left after Mr. Trump's plea was entered, so I didn't hear his co-defendant, Walt Nauta, who we assume also pleads not guilty. I can tell you that the government was represented by David Harbach of the Special Counsel's Office, Jay Bratt, who's the chief of the counter-espionage section of the Justice Department, who's been working on this case, and Julie Edelstein of the National Security Division. Mr. Trump is represented by, as I said, Todd Blanche, one of his lawyers from New York, who has been admitted to enter this case by Judge Cannon, and he said he'll be doing this permanently. So he's going to represent Donald Trump in this case. And also Chris Keyes, who is a Florida lawyer who has been sort of off again, on again with the Trump team. The magistrate judge welcomed everyone to the Southern District of Florida. Mr. Trump sat stone-faced. He's wearing a blue suit and a red tie at the table with his lawyers and with his co-defendant, Walt Nauta. And they waived a formal reading of the indictment. So it was a really pro forma, bare bones affair, Andrea.
Ken, what are we expecting next? Is the judge going to schedule something for soon after this?
Yeah, well, so what would have happened after the plea? Obviously, I left the courtroom, but they would talk about conditions moving forward of release. Obviously, he's not expected to be detained. So the magistrate judge would impose any potential conditions and then schedule a next appearance. And I'm sure you've reported, because I called it in hours ago, that before the hearing, Mr. Trump and Mr. Nauta were both processed by the federal marshals, and we understand that Mr. Trump was fingerprinted through a digital fingerprint system, but his mugshot was not taken. They used an existing photo of Mr. Trump as the official booking photo.
Can you give us, Ken, some atmospherics? I mean, this obviously is a historic moment, but we could not see it. We'll get some sketches, I assume. There, for example, were some reports that Jack Smith was in the room. Did you see him? What else can you tell us just about the mood in the room, Donald Trump's reaction to all this? I think you said he was stone-faced, but what else can you tell us about being in that room and who was in that room?
So, Chris, remember, I was in the overflow room watching this on a really lousy video feed. So I saw someone that I believe looked like Jack Smith sitting in the front row of the gallery, and reporters were consulting among ourselves whether we believe that actually is Jack Smith. We think it was. A federal marshal spokesman told us that Jack Smith is, in fact, here. So we think Jack Smith was in the room. I didn't see Mr. Trump react at all. He sat stone-faced. He was not writing. He didn't seem to have a pen in his hand. The lawyers did all the talking. The magistrate judge was very friendly, and it was kind of a loose atmosphere. Honestly, the most drama of the day was which reporters would get admitted into the courtroom. There was a lot of sturm and drang that went into that. There were lotteries. There was separate waves of reporters, and a few members of the public, maybe a dozen members of the public, admitted to this courtroom. And so, other than that, it was much shorter, honestly, than even I expected it would be. And we all know these first appearances and arraignments are very bare bones and very rudimentary, but this one felt like it was even more so. And again, no reaction whatsoever that I observed from the former president.
I know you had to run out of there really quickly, but did you get any information about a date for when this case goes back to Cannon, when this case is back under her jurisdiction?
No, honestly, as soon as I heard the plea, I headed for the elevators. We have other people in there, though, who will be coming out shortly and reporting on all that information, Katie.